Hi, welcome back. It's Chrissy the Crystal Indigo, and I am here with a twin flame check-in for May the 27th, I believe. 26, 27. Let me check in just to make sure. Okay, good. May 26th. Again, if you like the reading, share, comment, like, subscribe, and there is information about what I do and what I offer in the description box. So I'm going to start with the Divine Feminine first, and then I'll end with the Divine Masculine, and then I will pull the Twin Flame messages for Divine Feminine and as well as Divine Masculine. And these are from Mystic Moon. So I really love working with these cards. Okay, so let's dive into the Divine Feminine energy. The first card that was pulled, and this is from Mystic Moon Divine Oracle. I love her cards, by the way. But the first card that was pulled was Muse. So your DM is looking at the like his DF as his muse. And if you are going through separation right now, or like not speaking, or just going through the motions that the twin flame chaser runner tend to go through, then you really have to just step in your power. And this can be interchangeable. Just love yourself and just love your twin unconditionally. Um, because then you guys start to heal even if you're not in each other's presence, if that makes sense. The second card that was pulled was Winter. So I'm getting for the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, that everything by wintertime will be exactly where it needs to be. And again, like, we all have free will, so we have to make sure that we're just following the steps. Everything is ordered in steps that the divine is allowing us to go through. Don't rush the steps. Don't rush your process. Don't rush your feelings. Just let the divine take over. And if that is what the DM and the DF decides to do, I see things in full motion by winter. The next card that was pulled from the deck is Devotion. So the DF really is devoted to her DM, and the DM really knows that the Divine Feminine is devoted to him or her as well. That's not this twin flame connection here. Like, it's not like that person knows. Maybe the D. I'm not even going to say the DF, because it seems like majority of us, like, we're always like more awakened, more into our intuitive side. Like in my personal relationship, like my DM is like, sometimes, like, he hasn't gone through the awakening yet, but I feel like it's starting to come now. So that's why all of this confusion is happening. With the next card that came out was Self-Worth. Now, if the DF follows everything, like does the work, she does what Divine is asking her to do or follow, then sorry about that. Then, like, everything will be fine by winter, regardless. You're doing your work. So you get out there, you love, you have fun, you think about yourself, you make sure your cup is full. You kind of push the DM out of your mind. But, like, for example, me, I push him out of my mind, and like, we've had like the crazy runner chaser kind of thing, but I still hold a lot of love for him within my heart. And I still, like, send him healing energy and like things like that, even when we're in separation, we're not speaking. Because when you're coming from that place, I've noticed that, like, when you let go of the outcome, you guys, with our community, the twin flame community, we start to come closer and closer to each other. The last card was pulled was Solitude. And this is great. Like, for the DF, you have to go in solitude. You have to know, like, how to get yourself back on track, because sometimes this type of connection can really send you over the edge, like just have, especially if you're, for example, like me, I went through my awakening process for the first time ever last June. So it was just so much. And so sometimes you have to go into solitude. You have to be quiet your mind. Everything doesn't always need a response. Sometimes you just have to sit back, be cool, and just let things play out how they're going to play out. Regardless where you end up, how it happens, when you realize what happened, that all was meant to take place that way. So say, for example, if tomorrow I move to LA, it doesn't matter. However, everything was going to be aligned. And in the end, it's going to eventually still line up that way. Okay? All right. Let's look at what Divine Masculine is dealing with. Okay, so for the first card, again, like the Divine Masculine, it's thinking about union. But again, if he's a Divine Masculine that is in his, intuitively spiritual or unawakened, he's gonna still feel like, what is this? Like, I don't feel right. Like something is off. Like, something like, what's up? But in his heart, like 5D level, like he knows, like you are the one. He knows that he, um, needs to come forward. The second card that was pulled was shadow work. He has to do a lot of, work on himself. Like, this card, when I see this card, I get like past life trauma or child life trauma or things that haven't healed from the past that can consistently keep showing up and showing up and showing up. And I know for me, we tend to shadow each other sometimes as we go through this process. And you have to do the healing work, because when you heal, one shadow aspect, and you get closer, then you heal another shadow aspect, and you have to be honest and true. Like for me, I'm always honest with my twin, and I just say, like, I say things. I'm a Sagittarius, so I say things as it is. I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm going to give it to you straight, no chaser. And of course, that causes him to run. But then, a week, two later, I know he's like, oh man, she's right, you know. But you have to allow them to accept what is being shown to them as well. Also, on the DM's mind, it's commitment. Like, of course he wants to commit. Of course he wants to be with you. Of course he wants, you know, this beautiful, happy life. This for some of the DMs, or it could be interchangeable DFs. This is what they wanted growing up, and this is what they didn't see. Like maybe their parents were separated. Maybe one of their parents had multiple wives or something like that, but they didn't quite see, marriage and commitment and like the way you're supposed to handle a relationship in the right light. Okay. Um, Settling also came out, and when I see this card, automatically in my head it was like karma, 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 karma. So I feel like with the DM, that being attached to that karmic situation, like he understands, like I'm settling, like I'm, being afraid to step out and go to my divine feminine, because like this is what I'm used to, but my divine feminine has opened me up and showed me like so much more. And that's the thing, like if you continue to stay into these karmic situations, you're going to continuously, you repeat what you don't repair, and that's what's attached to karma. So a lot of DMs are like trying to get out of that settling cycle, like break free. Nostalgia. So nostalgia showed up, right? You see the heart. You see how like he's holding that heart like really tight. And when I see this, I say for the DM, like they are guarding that heart, like they do not want to be hurt, even though like it seems like with you being the DF or vice versa, that they've hurt you so much. But you can see on his end, like he really doesn't want to feel that same pain. He really doesn't want to feel that heartache being held tight, when he can just let his heart go. And like it's like he gives you a little piece and then he snatches it back. Like that's the one thing he protects the most, more than anything. Okay. Okay, so I pull some messages, and the first one is going to be messages to the divine feminine from the divine masculine. And The first message is, I've looked you up online to see what you've been up to. You are an angel. I'm not the same person that you remember. I can't handle your words right now. It's easier to just stay away right now. So that is for the divine feminine from the divine masculine, and clearly it's showing like he knows he messed up. He or she, interchangeable. They know they messed up, but they still know that you have this like beautiful connection together. They're just afraid. And again, I say in like a lot of the situations, one could be more awakened than the other. And like for divine masculine, he's probably just getting his dose or hit of his first, awakening. Like I said, I went through mine last June, and I just, man, it was the most beautiful, disastrous thing I've ever gone through in my life. But I needed that. And so I feel like with the divine feminine to the divine masculine to the divine feminine, once this DM is like really accepting, once he really opens up, he'll be able to be fully aware and committed to the connection that you guys have. Like right now, they know you have a special connection. They know they've never felt like this before, but it's all about them not resisting anymore and accepting it for what it is, and not being afraid that they do have spiritual gifts as well, and it's not nothing to be afraid about. It's a blessing. That means you are one of the chosen ones to do some excuse me, miraculous, beautiful work here on earth at this time, the new age, the indigos who are rising, right? Then this is the message from divine feminine to divine masculine. And it says, please don't take what happened personally. It's not you, it's me. I just wasn't ready for you. If I knew then what I know now, I would have made different choices. Your words linger in my mind. Your beauty still moves me. And I smile at that card because I always call my DM, I'm like, oh man, you're so beautiful. And you would think like a girl wouldn't say that to a guy, but that's like how I don't look at him as like a guy or whatever. I think he's just so beautiful. I'm like, you're so beautiful. And he would always just snicker and giggle. And with this, like from DF to DM, basically it's like, the DF understands now, like after, and this is for those who are in separation, that like maybe she should have pulled away a long time ago, instead of constantly trying to like show love, give love. And when you do that, like the DM, not intentionally sometimes, pushes you away or angry at you, do like the separation, like the shutdown, while the DF is like still like, I'm here for you, I love you, like I got you no matter what. And what that DF should have been doing was actually allowing him space, actually loving him unconditionally from a distance, because you have to set boundaries as well, where you can't just, even though you know this is your twin flame, even though you know the connection is real for those who really, really know, you can't just allow someone to just walk all over you just because they're unawakened and haven't had their awakening process yet, but it's starting to go through emotions. You have to be true. You have to act from love and light. So, like for my example is, I hate that not hate, but I dislike that I was so like frustrated with him, and I also have spiritual gifts, so I would just like tell him about himself, and not realizing like even though the things that he were or was doing wrong, I still should have chosen to move from a high vibrational love and light. Not to say that I didn't do that, but I also gave tough love, because you got to think about it. When you're in this connection, you're caught in between 5D and 3D. So that's why I resonate with this reading so much. And if you guys have any questions and you're going through, like, I mean, I think we all are. Like right now, the world feels so different, and I think it's so beautiful. And I have like this really crazy anxiety of good like feelings, like man, something amazing is about to happen. But my advice is just trust the divine. Take your time, love yourself, continue to get higher, to that high vibration, and then also send love, energy, healing to your twin flame, especially if you guys are in separation. Like, you don't have to talk to them physically, but with this connection, there's no doubt in my mind that they don't feel you spiritually. So that's what I have for you guys today. Love and light. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay?